There it is, a summons, a complaint. Your name as the defendant. Being sued is one of the most frightening experiences an ordinary American can face. The legal language is intimidating. The deadlines are real, and the consequences of getting it wrong can follow you for years. But here is what most people who get sued do not know. The lawsuit process has a clear, defined structure. It has rules that protect defendants just as much as plaintiffs. And the single most important factor in how a lawsuit ends is not how much money you have. It is how quickly and correctly you respond. Today on Rights and Reality USA, this is the first video of Phase 3, Court and Lawsuit Authority, and we are starting with the foundation. What happens when you get sued? Every step, every deadline, every right you have as a defendant, and the one mistake that ends more lawsuits before they even begin, in the worst possible way. This is not legal advice, but it is legal knowledge, and today, it could protect your finances, your credit, and your future. Let us get into it. When someone sues you, the legal process begins with service of process. This is the formal delivery of two critical documents to you as the defendant. Document 1, the summons. The summons is the official notice that a lawsuit has been filed against you. It identifies the court, the plaintiff, the person or entity suing you. And most critically, it states your deadline to respond. Document 2, the complaint. The complaint is the legal document that describes the plaintiff's claims against you. What they say you did. What they say you owe. What legal remedy they are asking the court to provide. Together, these two documents define the case being brought against you. How might you be served? In most states, service of process can occur through personal delivery by a process server or law enforcement officer, certified mail with return receipt, or in some cases by publication in a newspaper for cases where the defendant cannot be located. The moment you receive these documents, the clock starts. And that deadline is not flexible. What is a typical response deadline? In most federal courts, 21 days from the date of service. In most state courts, 20 to 30 days depending on the state and the type of case. Some courts allow shorter deadlines for specific case types. Read the summons carefully, find the response deadline, write it down. Do not miss it. Before we go any further, we need to address the single most devastating mistake defendants make when they receive a lawsuit. They ignore it. They assume it will go away. They assume the plaintiff will not follow through. They assume the whole thing is a bluff. Here is what happens when you ignore a lawsuit and miss your response deadline. The plaintiff files a motion for default judgment. The court enters a default judgment against you, automatically, without hearing your side, without reviewing any evidence, without giving you any opportunity to defend yourself. That default judgment is a court order saying you owe the plaintiff whatever they asked for. It is immediately enforceable. With a default judgment, the plaintiff can garnish your wages, meaning your employer must withhold a portion of your paycheck and send it directly to the plaintiff. They can levy your bank accounts, meaning they can take money directly from your bank. They can place a lien on your property, and the judgment may appear on your credit report for years. Ignoring a lawsuit does not make it disappear. It makes the outcome inevitable, and the worst possible outcome at that. Always respond. Always appear. Even if you have no money for an attorney. Even if you think you cannot win. Responding preserves your rights. Not responding eliminates them entirely. So you have received a lawsuit and you are not going to ignore it. What do you actually do? You have several response options, and the right choice depends on your specific situation. Response option 1, file an answer. An answer is your formal written response to the plaintiff's complaint. In your answer, you respond to each allegation in the complaint by admitting it, denying it, or stating that you lack sufficient information to admit or deny it. You can also raise affirmative defenses in your answer. An affirmative defense is a legal reason why the plaintiff should not win even if their factual allegations are true. Common affirmative defenses include the statute of limitations, meaning the plaintiff waited too long to sue, payment, you already paid what is owed, or failure to mitigate damages. The plaintiff did not take reasonable steps to reduce their loss. Response option 2. File a motion to dismiss. If the complaint has legal defects, such as being filed in the wrong court, lacking legally sufficient claims, or being filed after the statute of limitations, you can file a motion to dismiss, asking the court to throw out the case before it even gets to trial. We will cover motions to dismiss in detail in video 21. Response option 3. Negotiate a settlement. Many lawsuits are resolved before trial through negotiated settlements. If you receive a lawsuit and believe the plaintiff has a valid claim, reaching a settlement may be faster, cheaper, and less stressful than litigation. You can negotiate directly or through attorneys. Any settlement must be in writing and signed by both parties to be legally binding. Response option 4. Consult an attorney. For any lawsuit beyond a small amount, consulting an attorney is strongly recommended. Many offer free initial consultations. Even a single consultation can help you understand your best path forward. If a lawsuit proceeds past the initial response stage, both sides enter the discovery process. Discovery is the formal pretrial procedure where both parties exchange information and evidence relevant to the case. The goal is to ensure that neither side is surprised at trial, and that both sides have access to the evidence they need to present their case. Discovery has several components: interrogatories, written questions that the opposing party must answer under oath within a specified time frame. Typically, 25 to 30 questions are allowed in most courts, unless additional questions are approved. Requests for production. Formal requests for documents, records, emails, photographs, and other tangible evidence relevant to the case. Both parties must produce responsive documents within the required time frame. Depositions. Oral testimony given under oath, usually in an attorney's office, where the opposing party's attorney asks questions and a court reporter records the answers. Deposition testimony can be used at trial. Requests for admission. Written requests asking the opposing party to admit or deny specific factual statements. Admitted facts do not need to be proven at trial, saving time and expense. Important: failing to comply with discovery requests can result in serious legal sanctions, including having evidence excluded, having claims or defenses dismissed, or in extreme cases having a default judgment entered against you. Always comply with discovery deadlines. Most civil lawsuits, the vast majority, resolve before ever reaching trial. They settle, get dismissed, or result in summary judgment. But if your case does go to trial, here is what to expect. Jury trial versus bench trial. In a jury trial, a group of ordinary citizens hears the evidence and decides the outcome. In a bench trial, the judge decides both the legal questions and the factual questions. In civil cases, either party can typically request a jury trial for cases above a certain dollar amount. For smaller cases, bench trials are more common. The trial structure. Opening statements. Each side presents an overview of what they intend to prove. Plaintiff's case. The plaintiff presents their evidence and witnesses first. Cross-examination. The defendant's attorney questions the plaintiff's witnesses. Defendant's case. The defendant presents their evidence and witnesses. Closing arguments. Each side summarizes the evidence and argues for a verdict in their favor. Verdict. The jury or judge decides the outcome. The standard of proof in a civil trial is preponderance of the evidence, meaning the plaintiff must prove their case is more likely true than not. This is a lower standard than the beyond a reasonable doubt standard in criminal cases. If the verdict is against you, you have the right to appeal to a higher court within a specified time frame, typically 30 to 60 days from the judgment. A judgment has been entered against you. What happens now and what can you do? Option 1. Pay the judgment, the most straightforward outcome. If the judgment amount is within your means, pay it promptly. Some judgments can be paid in installments through negotiated payment plans. Option 2. Appeal the judgment. If you believe the court made a legal error, you can file an appeal. Appeals must be filed within a strict deadline, typically 30 to 60 days from judgment. An appeal is not a new trial. It is a review of the legal process used in the original trial to determine if errors were made. Option 3. Negotiate a settlement after judgment. A judgment creditor, the person who won the judgment, often prefers receiving partial payment promptly over a long collection process. Many creditors will settle a judgment for less than the full amount, particularly if collecting will be difficult. Option 4. Understand exemptions. Not all of your income and assets can be taken to satisfy a civil judgment. Federal and state law protects certain income and assets from creditors. Commonly protected items include a portion of your wages. Federal law limits wage garnishment to 25% of disposable income, or the amount by which your income exceeds 30 times the federal minimum wage, whichever is less. Social Security and certain government benefits. A portion of your home equity under your state's homestead exemption. Basic household goods and necessary clothing. Retirement accounts in many cases. Option 5. Consult a bankruptcy attorney. If a judgment would cause severe financial hardship, bankruptcy may provide legal relief. Chapter 7. Bankruptcy can discharge most civil judgments. Chapter 13 allows repayment over time. We will cover bankruptcy in full detail in Phase 5, Video 34. Let us bring it all together. When you receive a lawsuit, read the summons immediately. Find your response deadline. That date is everything. Never ignore a lawsuit. A default judgment means wages garnished, bank accounts levied, and no chance to defend yourself. Respond by filing an answer, a motion to dismiss, or negotiating a settlement, always within the deadline. Discovery is the pre-trial evidence exchange. Take every deadline seriously. Most cases settle before trial. If yours goes to trial, the standard is preponderance of the evidence. After judgment, know your exemptions. Not all income and assets can be taken, and options remain. In Video 18, coming in 5 days, we cover small claims court in complete detail. How it works, how to file, how to win, without an attorney. Until then, stay informed, stay protected, and remember, knowing your rights is your right.